So I was recently rummaging through my garage and found a QuickTime virtual reality demo disc I'd made back in 1997 and decided to make a short video about it. For those that don't know about QuickTime virtual reality, is that Apple actually developed what was known as QuickTime VR and an application known as QuickTime VR Authoring Studio, which was first released in 1995. I made the demo disc so I could show real estate agencies the ability to walk potential clients through properties without having to schedule time to travel and view them in person, but only when the clients were really interested in doing so. So to show you what equipment and software was involved in creating QuickTime VR, I decided to dig up my old camera I used, which was the Nikon Coolpix 950. This camera was the top of the line at the time, even though it was only 2 megapixels, but I really enjoyed using it as it was very well thought out in form and functionality. Then I dug up my Kiwi mount for the Nikon Coolpix, which I used to take multiple still pictures of a room, which were then stitched together to create a 360-degree view of a room. And this is what the whole rig looked like when mounted to a tripod. And because this application would only run on OS 9, I actually still had the original install disk, but needed a way to install it on my current hardware. I ended up finding a free application called SheepShaver, which is an open source PowerPC Apple Macintosh emulator which worked beautifully. So after I installed SheepShaver in OS 9, I was then able to run the demo that I had created over 22 years ago. The demo was fairly straightforward, and I attempted to build a simple interface that allowed potential clients to navigate around the property, even though graphic design was definitely not one of my strong points. In the upper right hand corner, I had put the QuickTime VR video of the property in this area. In the bottom right hand corner was the interactive map that allowed individuals to quickly jump from one part of the property to the next. I also put submenus at the bottom of the interface to again quickly move between the different maps and QuickTime VR maps provided. In this interface, I had also provided help functions that explain how each one of these boxes worked, such as explaining how the QuickTime VR panorama or object function works as seen here. In the main QuickTime VR window, this allowed for the user to do a 360-degree look at the surrounding area, as well as provide certain hotspots for the user to click on in order to investigate or advance forward in the QuickTime VR video, as you can see here when hovering over the front door of the house. Once inside the house, the user can again freely explore each section of the house by clicking on the 360-degree QuickTime VR video or by using the site plan below. I also photographed a few objects in the house to show the ability of being able to interact with objects, as I thought this would be a great application for museums to use as well. So here is the dining room. And again another object. The kitchen, and then we go upstairs to view a few of the bedrooms. And then we head back downstairs. They then could use the interactive map to jump over to the guest house, as you can see here. and if they wanted to see a map of where the property was located, they could use the map button. This is where I would have put the actual address of the property, but I didn't want to do that in this demo as the owner of the house was actually my father's boss, who graciously allowed me to photograph his house for my demo and wasn't for sale. By the way, this phone number I listed in the demo was when I lived in San Francisco over 22 years ago, so it no longer belongs to me, but I'm sure somebody else owns it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, as it was a lot of fun for me to get this working again.